Hey guys, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review. And this time I'm actually seeing and reviewing not another cartoon. You guys are probably a little happy I'm getting away from those, but yeah, not another cartoon. I'm actually reviewing my first start to my espionage and action films. And it is actually starting off with this movie here. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Now, a lot of you have probably seen or heard about this film, and a lot of people have liked it, a lot of people have not liked it, and there are a lot of things that just probably don't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but other than that, a lot of people love the movie because the movie is just a great showing of fun James Bond spoofing, making fun of what the James Bond films were, how ridiculous they could be at times, and just poking fun at what they were, both good and bad. And for the most part, these films are liked by a wide audience, and with Austin Powers, you have Mike Myers, who plays Austin Powers, and in a double role also plays his arch nemesis, Dr. Evil. And we have Austin Powers, who, is running through the streets of England. He's got like marching bands with him, women chasing him. The whole city and country of England seem to love him, even though this guy is, not the best looking. The glasses sort of take the charm out of him. His face ain't the greatest, his clothes ain't the greatest. He's got really bad teeth. Mike Myers was glued into this very hairy, unattractive chest, which can really take people out of a lot of stuff with him. So Austin Powers is not the most attractive person. And when he gets into his car to join his partner and agent, Mrs. Kensington, in a nice little role played by Mimi Rogers, he's told by British intelligence, also by Basil Exposition, who becomes the leader of British intelligence later on, played by Michael York in a good role. You have Basil Exposition tell Austin Powers that Dr. Evil's planning a trap for him at a nightclub. So he and Mrs. Kensington go to this nightclub, they're trying to scope things out. And in a hilarious cutaway, you have this real woman there. Austin Powers punches the real woman. And the other cutaway, it's now a man with a loose beard and a whole lot of other, interesting looking things involved that because it's just a hilarious cutaway of, oh, it's a woman. And then now it's a guy. So, hey. And for the most part, they try to interrogate the assassin who tried to kill Austin Powers, and Dr. Evil then takes out the assassin. Mrs. Kensington and Austin Powers see Dr. Evil go upstairs. They follow him. They see how he and his cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, get into this tube. It takes off that it's a cryogenic freezing chamber, and then he takes off in a big boy statue into space to where he wants the time of Austin Powers to be gone so Austin Powers can die and then he can reign over his terror on the earth and do what he wants. One side effect, however, is when Dr. Evil actually comes back in the year of 1997. Hint, 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 the year this movie takes place. When he comes back in 1997, you have him getting ready to spread evil, but Austin Powers also demanded that he be frozen as well, so that if Dr. Evil ever could return, he could stop him. So, Basil Exposition, Russian intelligence, Boris Yashevsky, and an American colonel, Colonel Gilmore, played by Charles Napier, go and they oversee Austin Powers being thought out, where there's this hilarious event where he's being thawed out, where he's put into a warm liquid goo phase, where it's really ridiculous. But Mike Myers apparently enjoyed that scene because he liked the warm liquid goo. A hilarious peeing forever scene where it's taking him a long time to go to the bathroom, where both Jay Roach and Mike Myers didn't mind the humor, as where I guess they heard some fans did. They thought the scene went on too long, but they thought, the peeing gag was a good thing to have at that moment, which I agree. It didn't go over the top and it didn't do anything too bad. And, basically where he's thought out, he basically has been brought forward, doesn't understand where he is. Basil Exposition gives him the quick rundown that, Dr. Evil's back. He wants to help out and, do things to help protect Britain and the world and everything else. Has a hilarious thing with Boris Yashevsky where he's told the Cold War's over and he thought Russia won the Cold War. And he's like, hey, those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes. Hey, comrades, hey. And, Basil Exposition's like, we won, Austin. And he's like, oh, goody, capitalism. I'm sort of embarrassed, but yet not at all thrilled. So, a hilarious scene there. But then he's introduced to his new partner, Vanessa Kensington, who he mistakes for Mrs. Kensington, but it's Mrs. Kensington's daughter. And it's played by that person right to the, it would be my right, or, your left to you guys and my right to me, but it is Elizabeth Hurley, who plays a really good role as Vanessa Kensington. She really seems as this guy who's not attracted to Austin Powers at first, and but plays a very good-willed, strong agent. But she does try to understand Austin Powers, and Vanessa does end up falling for him. And Elizabeth Hurley played that role really well, so I have to give her props for that as well. And we go back to Dr. Evil, who's meeting with his new assassins and some old assassins. He kills Mustafa, who's played a great cameo by Will Ferrell, because he messed up the cryogenic freezing process, and Mr. Bigglesworth lost all his hair and then became a real Asian hairless cat that they just used to double. And I think they said the cat's name was Frankie in the audio commentary, Frankie something. But, the white fluffy cat that he had was replaced by an Asian hairless cat. And, it was a nice little funny gag, but Mustafa, Will Ferrell, ends up getting killed by that. Takes a long time for him to die. He doesn't die in the fire pit that he goes down. Gets shot later. I would go into it, but once again, that's explaining a whole ton of the joke. And I don't really like doing that for you folks. I want folks to go see this movie, so I'm not really going to explain the jokes. But after Mustafa is killed, he meets all his old team. He meets Frau Farbissina, played by Mindy Sterling, who, is great in the role. She's great as Frau Farbissina. Does a whole yelling thing, which was her own made-up thing for the character. Is very tough, knows how to keep Dr. Evil in line. And she really has this funny, commanding presence of telling jokes and doing all these awesome things. Mindy Sterling was just great as Frau Farbissina. There's also Paul Dillon, who plays Paddy O'Brien, an Irish assassin where he chokes out people with his Lucky Charms, which led to a Lucky Charms joke. It's literally this bracelet that looks like he has Lucky Charms on it. So it was a sight gag and word gag all in one. So great stuff. You then have his number two man, aptly named Number Two, brilliantly played by Robert Wagner. Robert Wagner gives this funny yet suave, sophisticated way of playing Number Two, which is a joy to see. And Number Two is not really about taking over the world, but he's about just making it rich and having corporate stuff. So he's obviously the biggest I don't want to say capitalist shill, but he's the biggest capitalist out of the group who really doesn't want to do evil, but he just wants to make it big in business. Like, you know, the business that Doctor Evil is for his legitimate evil empire is called Virtucon, and Virtucon has oil refineries in Washington, shipping magnet stuff in Texas, and a miniature model of a factory in Chicago that makes, or sorry, my bad, a factory in Chicago that makes miniature models of factories, and Robert Wagner has this vibe where he looks like oh shoot, the villain from Thunderball, Emil Lago, I think, or whatnot, whoever that villain is. But he has the look of him, and he plays off him really well. And he comes into the film later, but I'll give him a good mention because he's great and wonderful in the film. Seth Green plays Scott Evil, which was made in a test tube of Dr. Evil's semen that he froze. And that's how the scene starts off. Frau for Business says, "Remember when we froze your semen?" Like that. And sorry, probably a terrible German accent, but she says it like that and just drops it, and it's a hilarious scene. And Dr. Evil's like, oh sure, you know, like he remembers. And Seth Green sees Dr. Evil and doesn't know what to make of him. Thinks he's a freak. Just tries to figure out what he can do for himself, what else he can be, and Dr. Evil doesn't understand him. He wants to do his evil layer stuff. Scott Evil's like, well, why don't you just kill these people, get rid of them, or just do evil things and not have these elaborate, stupid mistakes? And it's like Dr. Evil just doesn't want to hear it. He wants to do things the classic Bond way that necessarily doesn't work instead of just killing his enemies. And it's just a whole ton of hilarious stuff. It's great. And the film leads them to Las Vegas, where in Nevada, Dr. Evil has his secret hideout. Vanessa and Austin Powers go through ups and downs in their relationship, where Austin tries to take advantage of Vanessa. She doesn't, go for his charm right away, but then she does. And they both fall in love with each other. They have a lot of back and forth stuff. There's also this other character who's played by Fabiana Undiano, who's an actual Italian woman who plays a character named Alada Vagina. And it's just how it sounds. That's her name, and they make fun of the female names from Bond, and dare I may say it, the Bond heiress from Goldfinger, Pussy Galore. See? Subtle, right? So, Alada Vagina. Alada Vagina. Hopefully my video doesn't get taken out for mentioning that, but that's how the character was. And she plays a nice, funny character, a good character for that film too. And overall, Dr. Evil's main plan is to hijack a missile from Pakistan after finding out that Prince Charles had an affair, marriage, and divorced. He couldn't do that. Couldn't cause ozone layer and skin cancer to happen in the world because that's already happened. So he decides to go with what they always do, hijack a nuclear bomb, hold the world hostage, and does an underground missile. And Vanessa and Austin Powers try to stop him in the most hilarious of ways. There's a lot of back and forth. It makes fun a lot of Dr. No and also Diamonds Are Forever and a lot of the other earlier Bond films. There's a mention of a lot of Bond jokes, like when they're being lowered into a shark cage with laser beams. It's not shark cages with laser beams. It's ill-tempered, mutated sea bass. And they're like the piranha cage from James Bond, and I Think You Only Live Twice. And, the unnecessarily slow dipping mechanism, the way the bombs and everything are set up, the way the plot moves, the way the sets are built. It's just a hilarious, fun romp. I'm making fun of the Bond films. And I really think Mike Myers and Jay Roach captured that well. There's also nods to 2001: A Space Odyssey, in like Flint, couple other comedies they mentioned that I can't remember right off the top of my head, but there's a lot of other cool things they did. They mentioned a lot of other jokes from a lot of other good sitcoms, and they really did a good job in this, and you can tell they did that in the audio commentary. They did a wonderful job, and I mean, there's other great actors in this movie. There were like quite a few really good cameos. You had Carrie Fisher in the parental group. You had Tom Arnold at the casino. You had, oh yeah, you had Brian George, who was part of the United Nations. You had just like, oh, there's like, and I know there's like a few other people they mentioned that's just like really good nods to cameos and comedies. So this film was really well thought out. It really had, great nods to James Bond, great ways of making fun of it, great ways to overinduce what it was. And basically, in the long story short, what do you guys think of this film? Did you like Austin Powers? Do you like how it made fun, made you laugh, and just like a good fun romp? Did you really love what it was about, or were you like some of the other fans who just thought this film was annoying? Which I can agree, Austin Powers can get annoying for some folks, so I understand it's not everybody's best thing, but it is still a good movie. Oh, and a side note that I forgot to mention, George S. Clinton's score in this movie was just very good. It was very good, very fun score, very upbeat, a lot opposite of James Bond where it's a bit more serious, but a very fun, upbeat score for this comedic movie. But yeah, once again, let me know what you guys think. If you like this movie, if you didn't, just give me your comments and I will talk about it. Alright, well until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review, and this is 012 Boku coming at you again. And I'll be back with you guys in another movie review hopefully soon, alright? See you then, guys.